Welcome back everyone, John Panio here with another video. Today we're going to be giving you guys a comprehensive beginner's guide for For the King 2, as well as things I wish I knew before playing the game. The game is basically Baldur's Gate 3 light version. A little bit easier, but still a lot to handle. In the beginning, you can choose a difficulty level. Obviously with the difficulty you choose, it can make it harder. What do the things do? Life pool acts as revive for you. If your character dies in your game, you can use a life pool to revive them. If you run out, every time your character dies, it's a permadeath. Loadout points act as equipments or currency for you to be able to purchase equipment in the beginning of the game, so it makes your campaign a little bit easier in the beginning. Chaos Speed acts as the in-game timer. Certain quests have timelines for turn counters. If you don't reach it at a certain time, you will lose. That means the slower the chaos speed, the more time you have to do side missions. The higher the chaos speed, the less time you have. Market inflation just basically allows you to change how cheap or expensive things are. When you start off the game, you gain access to 4 character slots, but 5 characters you can play. You gain Blacksmith, Hunter, Scholar, Stable Hand, and also Herbalist. Now, what I recommend for your team in the beginning is Blacksmith, Stable Hand, Scholar, and Herbalist. The reason why is you have 2 front lines and 2 back lines. Now, your characters fulfill a certain requirement, and you want to have an even balance of physical and magical damage. The reason being is this. In this game, there are 2 different armor types. There's magical armor, physical armor. If an opponent has magical armor, magic damage does less to them. And usually what ends up happening is if they have magic armor, they don't have physical armor. So physical damage will do more damage to people without the armor. Our Blacksmith is our frontline physical damage tank. Our Stable Hand is our frontline physical damage well-rounder. Our Scholar is our backline magic dealer. Our Herbalist is our backline magic dealer support healer. I like to run this comp because this allows me 2 magic damage dealers and 2 physical damage dealer, which is pretty useful. Last but not least is class info. They have their passives and they have their stats up top. These stats up top basically makes it so that when you're doing certain roll checks, the higher the number, the better they are. And obviously different characters have different passives, so you want to take advantage of those. When we start off, we have 5 points. With these 5 points, we can equip certain things for our characters to make them, stronger. We will make our Blacksmith, I'm just going to say we're going to make our Blacksmith tanky, so I will want her to have padded jacket, but we could also give her the helmet and gloves. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the helmet. Oh, actually, no, change of plans. We'll take the padded gloves and we'll take the lockpick. With our Herbalist, she's good with herbs, so we'll give her the God's Beard and we'll give her the Tinder Pouch. Our dude's a magician, we'll give him the teleport scroll, and we'll give him the panics and golden root. Actually, and we'll give her nimble as well, because I like making her nimble. And with our guy over here, we'll give him the crude shield or the dented helmet. We'll do the crude shield because it's a little bit better, and we probably won't take the gold, and we'll take light boots for evasion. And with that, oh yeah, we'll take Tactician because we can't equip Tactician to our Stable Hand. So we'll take it with that. And then we'll join. Now in the beginning, you'll see that the character or the NPC is going to explain that within a certain time frame we need to get over. What just happened there is our movement roll check. Our character is given a base of 2 and 3 slots to be able to roll check for. We fail 2 of those rolls, it means we only have 3 movement. Now, first thing you can do is when you're at a haven, you can click on it. In the haven, you gain access to 4 things. We'll start off with the Merc Guild. By spending money, you can recruit a 5th, 6th player on your team to be able, battle for you, which is very useful. The only issue is, number 1, pretty expensive, 40 gold. Number 2, they only last for 6 rounds. They don't stay forever, so they make the fighting a little bit easier. A good strong power boost, but they're not forever. Quest board, it just basically allows you to, accept the quests. The best way of explaining it, ooh, wow. Now the best way of explaining it is that These side quests, you can accept one per tavern, but once you pick one, that's it. But you don't have to complete it, they're just there for you. We will take... these are some pretty interesting items. We'll probably take the glowing wand. Party resistance basically means your whole party will gain 1 magic armor, which is a total of 4 stats, which is pretty good. So we'll accept this one and see where it goes. Over here, pretty nice. The reason why it's pretty nice is because it's on the way to our main quest, which is very useful. The second thing we can do is we can go to services. By spending gold, you can do a couple things. At inn, you can replenish your HP and focus. Meditation replenishes your focus points. Healer replenishes everything. And also replenishes the HP and removes ailments. And your priest removes all curses for the cost of gold. Very nice. Last but not least is the market. Obviously, if I had money, I can use my money to be able to get certain things. Obviously, in the beginning, the beginner shop isn't going to be that good, but it does have its perks. But let's just start in the game. Now, focus points can be used for 2 main things, typically. No, 3 main things in the overworld. 1, it can give me extra movement. 2, accuracy in battle. And 3, higher chance of hitting my checks when it comes to certain events in the game. So let's just start off with this. In the beginning, I will move over to here and we can start this quest. I have 2 more movement, 1 more movement, 0 movement. And if I really wanted to, and if I really wanted to fight, I could use 1 focus to move to gain 1 extra movement tile. But I'm not going to do that. We're going to end turn. We're going to get our herbalist. She's going to roll for 4, so she can move for 4, which is very nice. We'll move ourselves over to this house. Does anything happen? Nope, nothing happens. We'll go here, and then we'll end turn. She can find a herb, which is very nice. Our stable hand can go really far. And I mean really far. If I wanted to, I could fight this thing. But I'm not, because it looks like this thing... Was this here? I don't know. Well, that's fine. This is a good time to explain how combat works. So how combat works is in this amount of hexes where it's labeled as red swords, this is where combat happens between all your characters. If all of my characters are within these red tiles, all 4 will be identified on the left hand side here. But if one of my characters was outside these hexes, they would not be able to participate in this battle because they're too far. Now there's a couple things. There's retreat, sneak, ambush, and fight. Now retreat just returns me back to my previous square. Easy enough if I think the battle's too hard. Sneak allows me, if I land all 3 heads check, which is a 55% chance, I can stay on the same tile as that monster without having to fight it. And the big thing to note about this is most normal mobs on the overworld will not attack you on their turn. You choose your encounters. Therefore, if I chose Snuck, I could just stay on this person. Ambush is interesting. Ambush allows me, if I succeed, to be able to get an extra move at the beginning of the turn, so I can get an extra hit. But also, if I was fighting a 1v1, it's very useful because it can fight 1 person. But let's just do ambush first. We succeeded, great. And we're going to do a 4v1 here. Now explaining combat, pretty self-explanatory. As you can see here, these tiles are labeled with a guard. I would like to have it so my stable hand is in front of the herbalist. So how does actions work? Well, in this game there's a primary action and a secondary action. A primary action is labeled with your diamond, a secondary action is labeled with the square. Moving and equipping weapon and skipping, or moving and equipping weapons cost a secondary skill for me, but I still have my main attack. So I'm just going to do slash on the nimble seedling. Nice and easy, 7 or 6 damage. Now, what does all this stuff mean? 2 to 6 stable hand. This means my damage is from 2 to 6, but not really. If I land 2 heads, I do max damage to the person, but it has an 83% chance of hitting with each slot landing heads. If I want to have higher accuracy, which is the hit landing, if I right click the enemy, it uses a focus, and as you can see, my accuracy increases. Now, I land double head, so it does 6 damage again. Now, the Scholar has 3, coin flips at 3 to 8. That means if I hit, let's just see what happens. If I try to hit the person, it does 3 hits, it's going to do maximum damage 8. So you can kind of see how you can calculate the math in your head. Herbalist is 4 hits, which basically means each of these are worth 2 damage. We'll do Ray, we'll hit the person, we land all 4, we should do 7 damage max. So that's how that works. In battle, focus allows you to be able to increase the accuracy of your skill. The heads flip allow you to determine the damage you will do. If you miss all your heads, you miss. Critical miss, that's it. Panics is just a herb to cure elemental effects. Herbs are good for herbalists, so we'll always give the herbs to the herbalist ideally. But sometimes you want to spread out the herbs because you want to make it so that each of your characters has the ability to heal themselves, because you're only allowed 1 free action per character per turn. Now, we still have a movement. Yes, we do. We can move all the way over here, and if we wanted to, with the amount of movement we have, we could fight this thing again. But we don't really want to fight this right now because it would be a 3v3. So we're just gonna move 1 more square here, get more vision, and end turn. The next thing we have is our Blacksmith. Blacksmith rolled pretty badly, so we can go here. But if I spend 2 focus, move 1 more, and if I spend 1 more, I can fight the jelly. Good. Enemy gets to act. Our Blacksmith looks like he might die though, or she might die. She's at 5 health. Super dangerous. Down. Now, what ends up happening? Person dies. We can use 1 of our skill point to be able to bring them back up. Click on the Blacksmith, and we'll bring the Blacksmith right there. And they typically revive with 50% HP. So the more HP they have, the better. This is a little bit awkward, but we did die. Let's see what we can do. Daze immunity, that's fine. We're gonna do Blast. Get rid of the damage. Now here's the thing. AoE damage skills like Blast do its main damage to the primary target, and then 50% of the rest of the damage to other units. And enemies doing lots of damage. Our Herbalist is about to go down, which is very suspicious, but we might be able to finish the enemy off with this. So we will just fight it down, have the Blacksmith fight as well. We could use focus and make it so we have higher accuracy to be able to do max damage, and that's probably what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a focus, make it so our accuracy is high, we land all heads, lovely, and we hit it for full damage. Phenomenal. We get 21 gold. We'll give it to our Blacksmith. Panics, give it to our Herbalist. A hand axe 3 to 10. Well, it's a lot better for our guy, so we'll equip it here. Now the problem is both our dudes poisoned. But luckily we have our Herbalist who can cure us from status ailments. But those things just kind of tick down, and there isn't really a good way to be able to do it. We have the glowing wand. We'll just equip it right away. And with that, we can end our turn. Now, the next big thing to note is this. Okay, let me explain. I'm finally in a situation where I can explain the battle mechanics a little bit easier with this 3-way battle. As you can see right now, when I hover over these boxes, what these boxes on that side represents is any enemy within those red boxes can participate in a battle. So if I was to fight this battle, normally I would be fighting the witch, which is over here, as well as the goblin over here, and it would be a 4v2, and that's if I fought normally. Obviously, this box is lit up, but it does not include the young witch, because any enemies that are fortified, but basically, you know, here, it's a grouped instant encounter. So this one right here probably has multiple mobs, and this right here, this rat quest right here, also has multiple mobs. So you can see that the question mark, or the or the question mark body, question mark beside the body, represents that this witch is 0 level, level 0, with the potential for multiple enemies. Looking over here, this is just a single goblin sniper here, and looking over here, it's just a single witch here. If I wanted to take down just the goblin sniper by itself, I could literally move over and ambush it, and I will fight the goblin one-on-one. Right now, my odds of succeeding the ambush is 53%, which is a little bit low, but I can increase it by using my focus. By using focus, by right-clicking ambush, my chance of succeeding is 82%. And when I do ambush someone, this is what ends up happening. When I ambush someone, what would happen is I get a free action in the beginning, and as you can see, I'm not fighting the witch single, which is very nice. It's very nice that I don't have to worry about dealing with the witch, which is very nice. And this is the power of ambush. I get a free attack and I get to go again, which basically makes it so it's very much a one-sided battle, which is very nice. Now, the biggest thing to understand is sometimes for the sake of time, it might be better to just fight normally, because if you fight normally, you don't actually have to go and fight multiple instances of battle. So this is where strategy comes in. Do you avoid and do sneak? Sneak just basically allows you to avoid combat and stay on the same square as the enemy. Ambush allows me to fight just one person and take him out. And fight allows me to be able to fight everything within this vicinity if I wanted to take care of everything. And that's basically the gist of combat, simply put. The biggest thing to understand in this game is the enemy mobs do not chase you down, which is very nice. The enemy mobs don't chase you down, which makes it so that you don't have to worry about the mobs fighting you, but sometimes you will encounter situations like this. Oh, a special trigger event. This one here is a dungeon, which I could go and fight right away, but the dungeon is very scary. So we're gonna go into the cave and start the dungeon. Now this is basically the second part of the main gimmick of this game. Is obviously you have your overworld, you have checks that you can do, but you can also go in to these dungeons. In these dungeons, you can go through a little sort of, not roguelike experience, but a one-dimensional dungeon crawl where you can fight. Shock arrow. 8, and it's down. Oh boy. Our stable hand's gonna take it. Beast hat. Vitality, intelligence, confuse immunity. We'll give it to resistance, focus. Give it to our scholar. And we'll just give our items around. We have our heal. We're gonna give it to the herbalist because the herbalist just works better with heal. Give it to the herbalist. And we could party heal. And I think we might do that. But we should be okay. Because this is the last room, and the last room, yep, is a chest. Let us open the chest. And usually with the chest, we should be getting a ton of money. We'll spread the money out this time. We'll give it to our herbalist. Lore book, as you can see, this will be using stuff for later. Tattered robes, intelligence, curse immunity. We'll equip it on her. Queen staff is interesting. Shock bolt, fire bolt, ice bolt, water bolt. We'll take it and equip it on our scholar. Crude goblin, we'll take it on our boy here. And back to the overworld. So, as you can see, game is pretty self-explanatory. Nothing too crazy. But we'll do one last thing. So, something to note is item transferring. One thing that you can do in the overworld here is you can actually transfer item if your characters are close enough. And let's just say, for example, I move 2 slots over. If I'm still close enough to my people, I could still technically transfer it, but they're too far away, which is a little bit unfortunate. But we'll go back over here. And do we have any money? We don't have any money. That's fine. We'll move left 1 and call it here. But these annoying little ailments right here, we're gonna go back to town and we can use its services. Now, healer allows us to fully replenish our health and remove ailments. Now, this thing is feeble. This one, lethargic. This one, unwell. We want to heal. But as you can see, healing brings me up to full health. Does not get rid of feeble. We need a priest to get rid of feeble. So as you can see, a little bit annoying that sometimes that's just how it works, but you have to know that which ones are curses and which ones are status effects. And status effects are usually just going to be on the top, and side effects are going to be the stuff that allows you to tell what it's going to be. We'll move our stable hand up here, and we'll use the money that he had to go to services and priest. And now we've gotten rid of that. Now, the last thing to go over, obviously, is if you're close enough to your teammates, you can pass things around. I can give, like, the crude bomb to the herbalist or to the blacksmith if they're close by. Same thing with money. I can transfer an amount of gold over to, you know, people who are close by. And that's essentially the gist of the gameplay. Last but not least is lore books. Obviously, in certain events where, say for example, you enter into a layer, you finish a certain storyline quest book, you're gonna get lore books. Lore books basically allow you to go into the lore store and just buy new things to make it so that it's a little bit easier for you guys to progress through the game. So in this loadout with 7 lore book, I could purchase an extra lockpick, I can purchase an extra panic, so that way in the beginning, when I'm, you know, starting a brand new run, I have the ability to get 2 lockpicks instead of 1, which is very nice. Or also vision scroll or crude torch. Pretty nice, honestly. But I don't have any reason to do it. The biggest thing to note though is your lore books, you pretty much want to always use it on your traits right here. Using it on traits is probably the biggest thing that you want to use your lore books on, because traits are just extra passive bonuses that just you get for free in the beginning as long as you equip it in your loadout at the beginning of each campaign. So I would highly recommend upgrading your loadout. But those were basically my tips and tricks in the beginning of how to play the game, and also just how battling and movement works, because there's just so much in this game that it doesn't tell you about. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. I plan to make some videos for this game because it's pretty fun, but I'll probably be sticking to Roblox. Anyways, John Pano signing out. See you guys later. Bye for now.